And of course, staying in Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has assured international investors that Nigeria is a secured destination on the African continent. He gave the assurance while speaking as a participant in a panel discussion on fostering local value chains and investment in Africa at the 4th G20 Investment Summit, which commenced today in Berlin, Germany. The president noted that while promoting the rule of law is crucial for attracting foreign investments, Nigeria's energetic youth population and well-educated populace represent the greatest incentive provided to investors towards the mutually beneficial replication of China's economic resurgence. President Tinubu further assured potential investors that Nigeria has moved beyond restrictive policies, saying capital can now move in and out of the country freely, providing flexibility for investors.
Nigeria is a stable democracy. Since I took over in May this year, we've embarked on transformative changes. All obstacles hindering on businesses is being removed. We are reforming the economy based on the principle and philosophy of good governance. And we are providing the best environment for you to invest. Today, you can move your money in and out as you wish. Please, forget those dark days of military incursion in our politics. It's gone, and I believe it's gone forever. You will have the best return on investment if you invest in Africa and particularly in Nigeria.
Ejike Okpa, Global Affairs Analyst, joins me to discuss this further. Thank you so much for your time, Ejike.
Thank you for having me.
All right, great. Now, what's your reaction to President Tinubu's assurances on Nigeria being a secure investment destination in Africa? And how would it resonate with international investors that, of course, he was given this address to?
Thank you for such a question. Like we say in Texas or US, bless his heart. Tinubu is really working hard at this, but is he working smart? Since he became president, how many trips has he made overseas? He hasn't even gone around Nigeria to speak to Nigerians to say, look, I am here, all buck stops with me. This is what I'm going to do. Every opportunity he gets, he hops in an airplane, he goes overseas to go, plead or beg like some little boy as if, asking people to come and invest. The Nigerian statistical data on business development and the challenges of the economy cannot be wished away. The fundamentals are not there. Until the fundamentals are there to even where Nigerians feel comfortable to invest in their own country, no amount of pleading and appeasing the world will change that. So let him come back home. Let him engage the 6 political zones. When he became president, I sent him a letter. Go around the country and speak with Nigerians. Just listen. Don't lecture them. Don't tell them this magic wand kind of thing he's waving around and nobody's paying attention. The Naira, as a singular example, since he took over, has been doing what? Has he stabilized? No, he hasn't. So, Nigeria is not a new invention. Regardless of the fact that it became independent in 1960, Nigeria was formerly a country in 1914. That is how many years, more than a century. What has Nigerian leaders got to show for it? No Nigerian president since the war ended, even Obasanjo that now makes some lousy comments about democracy and stuff, they haven't done anything. They have never spoken to the Nigerians. The Nigerian leaders talk at Nigerians, or when it's convenient for them for whatever political thing they think they're going to do, they talk to Nigerians. Good leadership requires you talk with. When you talk with the people, that means you are as their servant leader saying, tell me what it is we can do. So going abroad and sitting in some panel, making points or views that some sophisticated minds just look at it and say, this man is on a fairy tale wishes. It's not going to change the needle on a positive thing for Nigeria.
In your, of course, discussion, you said fundamentals. You highlighted the word fundamentals are not there. What exactly are these fundamentals?
In Nigeria, who are the people that are important? There are 36 men, governors and the president. There are 36 of them. They are the ones that run everything. I mean, granted at the center, the House of Representatives and the Senate try to flex some muscle. But when you depart that and go to the states, the governors are your alpha and omega. They're the ones that have the yam as well as the knife. Whatever they cut is what the rest of the people feed off on. So you have to change that. Nigerians do, recently in Dallas, we just had what we call issue elections, whereby some items are put off for the people to decide on. That's a constitutional amendment. That's how we amend constitution at the state level. But in Nigeria, no state has even done issue elections. How do you want to be governed in your own particular part of Nigeria? Nigeria, all this one Nigeria, okay, fine, one Nigeria, if Nigeria is to be attacked, and then, you defend us. But the guy in Sokoto has nothing to do with the guy in Bayelsa. They are not even regional, economies. So when you look at Nigerians where they are, if they are driven mostly by their own cultural, religious belief, let them decide how they want to be governed in that. And then in Lagos, that is, the bigger cosmopolitan area that represents Nigeria. In fact, the governor of Lagos at this time should not just be a Yoruba man. It should be any Nigerian who has lived there. But what have you seen? Since democracy has always been native Yoruba people who think it's a Yoruba state. It's not a Yoruba state. The governor of Lagos State should reflect what Nigeria is all about. But because every Nigerian has or lives there or be born there, some of them don't even know their own state of origin based on their parents. So the fundamentals about investment is regulation. Nigerian business is top heavy with political influence. If you want to go to any state to do any particular business, of course, you have to romance the stone, and romancing the stone in this case is the governors, and oftentimes they're going to have to send you their own people who come in to say, well, in order for this to happen, this has to be there. Business looks for stable environment. Business looks for currency that is stable in terms of, hey, if I put it in my dollar, do I get my dollar back? So if the Naira is doing this erosion and falling like, an apple from the tree with no restriction, who wants to invest there? You're in Germany asking Germans to come and invest. Remember, the Germans built a Aramco in Enugu, the first Mercedes assembly truck the Germans did in West Africa. What has happened of that? So you can't go talking to people as if they are oblivious of the challenges of Nigeria. The politics of Nigeria does not favor the economic or business environment. That needs to be changed. The money, Nigerian banks needs to start investing in Nigerian businesses as opposed to giving money or giving loans to politicians who oftentimes they don't pay back. Look at Aramco. Look at the debt they have.
I just need to cut in here, Ejike. Sorry, apologies for that. But one of the high points of the president was the issue of human capital. Now, President Tinubu pointed at Nigeria's energetic youth population and well-educated populace as an attraction for foreign investment. Now, how much of this would you say actually, holds weight in this context?
Okay, let me give you an example. Nigeria may have 200 million people. That population has not been really tested. But how many of those people in that 200 million people are really functional Nigerians? If you talk about well-educated, that can be relative. Most Nigerian graduates are not able today to write a memo. If you give them a simple thing to write, you're probably not going to be able to do it. So when you talk about educated, in what sector? That because somebody has a laptop and they can move money from this, we're talking about hardcore technology. Electricity came to Nigeria 14 years after America built their first power plant. And that is 1896, 64 years before independence. Ijola Power Station was built. That old technology that hasn't changed, Nigeria still has not been able to provide it in a robust quantities to make businesses survive. So what are you talking about? Nigerians can't even build roads. Okay, since 1914, the amalgamation, Nigeria has less than 5,000 miles of well-built
I'm
roads.
sorry, when it comes to the human capital aspect, right? We've seen cases where some Nigerians leave the shores of Nigeria and they excel excellently. I mean, if you look at the entertainment space, for instance, globally, it's Nigerians dominating. So maybe, yes, infrastructural deficits and all of that.
I went to school in Nigeria. I did my U7 before I left. Nigerians function, let me tell you.
Okay.
Nigerians function well in a well-established environment. Okay? You look at Nigerian doctors abroad. You look at Nigerian doctors in US and in Canada. How many of them own hospitals?
Doing well
they are still bedside practitioners. Excuse me. They are still bedside practitioners. 80% of Nigerian doctors that live in America have no clue about healthcare policies. So they are still bedside practitioners. There are people that are being used and they work in an environment that's been confirmed and said they can't change it. But you look at other immigrants, they own hospitals, they participate, they're involved in the policies that drive business. So because a Nigerian gets out and trades hour for the dollar does not mean that they have migrated to the level of intellectual content needed to build industries. So how many Nigerians in America, you have more Nigerians than you have in any other country? They don't even have a community bank. They don't even have a credit union. These are things immigrants do, but you then have other immigrants that come in here, they have banks, they have neighborhoods, they own businesses. Nigerians that graduate in America, 80% of them are still looking for jobs in companies that are not owned or controlled by Nigerians. So these are the things that those of you at home don't look at. You just see, oh, a Nigerian is this, a Nigerian is that. No, I live here. I ran for mayor, I ran for Congress. I'm a business owner. I've been self-employed since 1990. So there are certain things Nigeria needs to start speaking about. The population doesn't really matter if less than a quarter of that population are functional. And less than a quarter. So you have a lot of Nigerians that are out there, but they are being supported by one single income earner. So population has to really be relevant in order for it to be a magnet for economic development. So the numbers that are being thrown around, nobody has actually gone in to sensitize those numbers to see how relevant it is. If you leave Lagos and Abuja or places like Dapo, what are the people doing in Kogi State? What are people doing in Niger State? What are people doing in Kebbi? So how many
Ejike, I'm sorry, but I might just need to cut in here. We need to go because we're pressed for time. But thank you so much for your time, of course, on the news. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.